Okay, good afternoon all. Hope everyone is well. You'll see a little bit of a difference to my chart. I do spend quite a bit of time now looking at the NQ as just a little bit of, let's call it an anchor chart, which helps me make better decisions on here. If I'm looking for a long trade here, but the picture may not be as clear, sometimes it can be clearer on the NQ. So I also wanted to get as much information as I could in here, including the positions tab in Rhythmic. So if for some reason it's not showing here or it's not shown in the positions, it may show in here. I had a bit of a problem with it today. And not only that, as I record obviously my live streams, you know, if anything does go wrong, I want proof that something couldn't close or something didn't show open, or just stuff like that, really, to help me you know, cover my arse should something decide to go wrong. And obviously some of you guys trade the NQ as well, so this might be useful to you guys. So there you go. So that doesn't affect you too much. But this is the ES, which is the main chart, and obviously this is the NQ. And if anybody is just having a quick glance, I've obviously noted it down here, NQ and ES. So hey Speedy, how you doing, buddy? Arminas, how are you? So this should give me all the information I need if something's open. It's all here really, so if there's positions open and they don't show in here, then I'm assuming they've closed down, but sometimes it won't show in here and it will in here, so at least then I'm covering my arse. So I have a feeling that there may be a bigger channel here and this may push up. Part of the reason being because we got a touch there, and we got a break, and this does look like we're going to push up for a new high. So this is looking bullish. This isn't so much, but if this does decide to push up, I'm guessing this one will as well. So let's see if we can get a higher low up here. So market is officially, is it open? Where's the time gone? I'm missing the time. Yeah, market's open. Okay, let's see. This does look like we're pushing up to make a new high. So if we can get a lower high here, so we got two legs back, let's just get an order open.
Order submitted.
Just in case. I do like that.
Order submitted.
Okay. Way too much risk. Way too much risk. This is the trade I'm taking. Yeah, okay. I might have shot myself in the foot there, but I think I'm okay.
Target filled.
Yeah, okay. Bit of a risk there. Part of the reason I like that is because this is looking bullish. So let's call the trade there. I got in way too late. I thought that was a higher low and it wasn't. So let's just put that trade there and call that 2 points. We're up to the highs now, so there is a higher low there, but I'm not going to take that. If you extended the lower line up, that was a key entry point. Well, to be honest with you, I have been messing around with this. Depends where you look it from. You're on about there. Yeah, I was looking at that, but it just, I don't know, it looked a little bit too extravagant, if you like. But this is another reason why I like the NQ, because if one doesn't fit, this one does. And we got a touch there, close enough there, touch there, touch there. That is beautiful to me. And it's fitting once, twice, three times on the back. That's a clear break, and it does look like it's pushing up to make a new high. And it did. Hence me getting there. So we got a channel up and a break. Well, I actually got in there, which I considered as a higher low, but it wasn't. So I brought my risk down there. It was risking a little bit more, which wasn't the smartest of things to do, but I was pretty confident I knew what it was going to do. But it did make me 2 points anyway, clearly. So even if I'd have put it in there anyway, it's sort of clearly, where was it, about here? Yeah, I think I actually got in right on the nail, didn't I? But this to me is a lot clearer, which is another reason why I went long. You know, this, I find this tends to follow this. It was a little bit risky, that one. But I liked what I was seeing, and yeah, I suppose you can say, let's call that a spiking channel. Let's put it there. Let's call that off the key entry point, somewhere around about there. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I did do that earlier, but then I just don't know. But if you want to think that's a channel, this certainly is. But you can clearly see what's going on there. When that started to push up, that's why I got in there. So second entry short there. We may trap some shorts, but as this has made a new high, that's played out. Now it does look like it's continuing on and up, but it may not. So let's see if that second entry shorts. Yeah, it's not a very good bar, to be honest with it anyway. So you may get a higher low there, but as this is getting close, we've already made a new high. I'm just going to sit tight, and it is getting a little bit congested here. So anyway, let's just call that a... It is actually a second entry long there anyway. That's 2 points. It was a bit more of a risk than I really wanted to take, but there we go. So yeah, what I'm going to do is kill the colour, and that tells me that it's an area of interest. Just because it looks a little messy doesn't necessarily mean it's not a channel. So I just have to keep an eye on that. So, but this, after this break, push up strongly, and once that started to push up above that, for me, that was going to break the new high, which is why I decided to get in there. There is a failure there. My issue is, we've already been up here, so you just don't know. You took the same trade, but I drew as a trading range, second entry long support. Yeah, it definitely helps having this here. So there is a failure there. My slight issue with it is we've already been up here and broken a new high, so you don't know whether it's just going to make a couple of attempts to retest the top again and then drop. And also, I'm not a massive fan of that choppiness. It's whipping backwards and forwards, and that's another reason why I didn't take it. It's just looking a bit scary now, innit? We could have... Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, if you took away all this area, it kind of fits there, but there is a bit of, as Matt calls it, whipsawing, and it really is. It's down, up, down, up, down, up, and it's doing it quite violently. Now, there is a failure there, but I didn't take it because I don't like what it's doing, and rightly so. That would have stopped me out. And we've already been up here once and made a new high, so we could just retest this area before we come down. So 1, 2, 3. That may be a triple test, but I'm just going to sit tight at the moment because what it is doing also is so I do follow Mac, but occasionally I will take a trade if I think it looks right. At some point you got to stand on your own 2 feet, haven't you, and make some of your own decisions. Because I'm not a complete beginner now. I've been sitting in front of these charts daily for 3 years now, so you do tend to notice things. So sometimes, I think someone told me somewhere, you can trade congestion if you know, as long as you know what's going on. So I'm still not massively sure about the bigger channel there. The only reason I'm leaving it there is because we have a channel there. So I'm using the 1500 tick chart there. Let's just see what happens on the 2000, see if it looks more or less the same. I'm guessing it's going to look pretty much the same. Yeah, it is. There's really no difference. Quick question, just give me a bit of info. What do you NQ guys trade, the 1500 or the 2000? Let me know and I'll adjust it for you if it helps you guys. It doesn't really make much difference to me. The picture looks equally as good, to be honest with you. So what do you prefer, 1500 or 2000 tick chart on the NQ? Just let me know and I'll change it. 1500, okay. There's one for 1500. you're 1,000. That's probably a bit too much of a jump. Let's stick it to 1,500. If there's not much difference between the 1,500 and the 2,000, there shouldn't be much difference between the 1,000 and the 1,500. So, in all fairness, I've got to give it to Kev because he has got a nice boat. You've got to make these decisions based on facts and information. Yeah, I mean, Armanash, you're 1,000. Kev's 1,500. I had it on 2,000, so let's put it on 1,500, and it'll be close. It'll be close. It'll be close to the. There's not there wasn't any difference between the 15 and the 2,000, so there won't be much difference between the 1,000 and the 1,500. So. Touch. It fits lovely there, in all fairness, and it's not quite as dramatic as this. But you know, it's it does help you make better decisions. This, I got to say, I'm hoping some of you guys start to use it now, or at least give it a go. It doesn't do you any harm to have the chart on there, but the good thing about having multiple charts on here is you can help more people anyway. And what I find is watching someone's stream, if I was to watch someone's stream, it helps me make better decisions, because if you're unsure about a channel but you've got it the same as me, more heads are better than one, aren't they? So I think sometimes just watching what someone else's chart is, it just helps you make better decisions. I think, you know, sometimes if there's two of you sort of get a better outcome than if there's one of you. Maybe not following trades, but, you know, on, you know, channels and stuff like that. I still look at, you know, the other streamers. I still look at Sam's chart at the end of the day. I still look at Moo Moo's. I like to see what they've done. Did they do any different than me? What did they take that I didn't? You know, did they make mistakes? Did I make it? Did I not? Did I, you know? Just helps you make a better trader, I think. And ultimately, I always, hey Brick, how you doing? I always check Max as well, Monday to Thursday. I like to see what he's taken, what did I miss, what his chart was like. So this to me looks like a leg and a leg. So I would expect this to at least hit the top there. Now, am I going to go long there? No. Because we've been up here on the NQ, we've had a break, we've been up here once, made a new high, and we've been up here a couple of times more. So this could continue on, or it could just retest this area 3 times, and if it doesn't push up, it could drop quite dramatically, which is why I'm staying out. There is a second entry long there. The signal bar isn't brilliant, but, you know, it depends if you say 1, 2, 3 triple test and push up, but it did work, and it kind of is a triple test in a way. Yeah, it's not the greatest of bars, but if you're confident you know what you're doing, you'd probably expect that to work more times than not. In which case, you may be the type that go, okay, I don't mind more losses, but I'd rather take the ones that are maybe 70%, 75%, because ultimately, I think taking them all day long, you will still make money. But I'd rather not have the losses. But if you can handle losses, if they don't bother you, you just play the numbers game, you may take that. It is a second entry long, and we've been on this line a bunch of times, haven't we? So, but my concern is we may decide to come down on the NQ because we've been up here twice before. And if you do like this as a channel, I'm not massively a fan of it at the moment. But if you do think there's something there, then you know, but there's definitely something there, and you could say that was an overshoot, but there is a bit of a channel there. We've had a break in a new high, so at the moment we do seem to just be going sideways. So it's hard to say at the moment. Part of me liked that, but I didn't like all this stuff. It just didn't seem in keeping with the channel. So. See, there is a possibility of something else. we've had a break new high, and we've come down to this level, which we have a couple of times before, so that's a possibility. But I'm not taking anything at the moment. Let's just put that for there for now. I get a bit finicky about getting it bang on. So we've had 1, 2, 3 touches there. We've had a few less touches here, so I think it's probably a safer bet to do that. So regardless whether we had a big channel there, we've certainly had a break of it anyway. But it is just a bit whipsawy, isn't it? So it could really do anything. We've had a leg down. So we may get another leg down on the NQ, retest this area and push up. It's hard to say at the moment. It's just, but it does seem to be slowly moving up at the moment. But it is also a little bit congested. I hate that we ignore the previous day. I don't usually. A lot of the times I will have a look. A couple of times, if we're ranging and we come up to this level here, I will do it. So there has been. Mac doesn't bother with them. I actually think. They play a part personally. So if you think we seem to be. I mean, you may have a break there, but I don't know. I'm not a massive fan of that at the moment. Let's just see. Maybe we just come from yesterday. Let's have a look. That probably looks a little better. Yeah, that looks a bit better, doesn't it? We got a few touches there. So maybe it's a leg and a leg. There's always that possibility that we've got a leg there and a leg there. We're more or less up there, aren't we? So I do look just to see what may happen, but I do think it definitely plays a part. I mean, if you were swing trading over a day or two, of course you'd be looking at that. So just because we've got a new day, absolutely doesn't mean forget about everything that's happened before. But I do obviously use the daily as well because I like to see what's happened. We've come down. Probably take that up a bit. We've come down and hit this. We've had a leg down. We've come down and hit the bottom. So we may come down a bit further. It's hard to say, but we're clearly sort of being in this bit of a range at the moment, aren't we? So we could come down again. We did a couple of times there, didn't we? Or we could push back up. So that doesn't tell us a lot at the moment. But the bigger overall picture on the daily, we do seem to be in a bit of a range. Leg. See, we're at the bottom of this channel now, and we've held there, so that seems like a leg and a leg. So that is looking like it's likely to push up again, more likely. So you may decide to take that as a failed break. And it worked. We got a leg down and a leg down, or we got a channel, a break, 2 pushes down to a new low and a bearish, a bullish bar. Well, bullishish if that's a word. And you'd have certainly rode that back to the EMA. You'd have got 1-to-1 on it anyway. But it's held twice now on this line, which would tell me it's more likely to continue up. But it's hard to say really because it's still just that little bit choppy here. But I would expect that to work. But you know me, I tend to not pick bottoms and tops. I just tend to rather avoid them. I get a better win rate if I avoid them. So this does look like it may push up there, which is pushing this back up. So, you know, the more I use this, the more I think, yeah, actually it does play a vital role. It's always nicer just to have another picture. It's almost like having one more guy saying, yeah, actually, I think you're thinking along the right level there. So there may be a higher low there. I'm just sitting tight at the moment. I'm not a massive fan of it, although it may probably work. I don't know. I don't like the way that pushed up and then came straight down. So I'm staying out. It hasn't triggered anyway. I do find now I'm much better at looking at something and getting a feeling for it straight away. Like, yes, I like it, or no, I don't. And this, just at the moment, is just a little bit unclear. And same with there, it is a little bit. It may just drop, it may come down, but I got mixed feelings on this on the NQ, and this as well. Chad, if we fill the gap between today's open and yesterday's close, it down around 4769. Yeah, it's just a little bit congested here at the moment and unclear, and it's starting to look the same as well. I like the way it held there, but it's dropped below there, so we may come down. I mean, we had a break, one push up. You may just call this one push up, leg, and a second push up, and we may either go sideways a bit more or come down, but it does look like it may be running out a bit of steam. And so does this. We came down, we went up, we dropped out, we came in, and we dropped again. So for me, it does seem to be losing a bit of steam. And the way this is coming down, I'm just going to get rid of that for the minute, because it's more just congestion, I believe. Yeah, that looks a safer picture than the channel. We're going to break 1, 2 pushes up, maybe 2 legs back, another attempt, 2 more tries, and then drop. Who knows? But if it's not clear, I'll just stay out of it. But it is just it's a little bit choppy, isn't it? And we do seem to be sort of slowly inching down here, and maybe the same here, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that. There may be a channel there. It looks like a leg and a leg, or one leg and a second leg. We may come down here. It may just be, there is a chance this is just a range day. And we're just at the top. We're trying multiple times. Just have to keep an eye on it. Does look like a channel, that. Let's just change that color. Yeah, see, at the moment, this still looks like it's ranging. We've sort of got a leg and a leg, so this could push up a bit. So going short here, anywhere here at the moment, is a bit of a no-no for me. This looking like we may have another attempt higher. This is looking like it's sort of worming our way down a bit. So I'm just going to sit tight. If we can get below here and close, or retest the underside of this, then I'd say then, yeah, that maybe that's working down in a channel. Yeah, see, if that is a channel, we're at the bottom of it, and if it is a range, we're at the bottom of it. So I would probably hold on going short here, because we may push up a little bit, maybe to the, we may not, we may trigger that long and drop. But regardless of that, if that is a channel, we've got to touch here, touch here, touch here. I don't want to be going short around about there. If it is a channel, but if it is a range, it's triggered that. So that may take out any stops below that bullish bar there. Looks like it's going to. So I'm just sitting on my hands at the moment. We've gone down there, and so far that's held, and that is actually a possible higher low. So I don't really want to get into a short just yet. Okay, we got some news here, didn't we? Which is why we tended to get that bit of movement there, which is why that probably stuck out the way it did. Okay, leg and okay, so that did push up there, so that's why I just couldn't get involved in a short. There wasn't any setup here anyway, so let's just get rid of that. So it could just be a little channel with a break and a new low, and then a retest, and then a push up. So I'm just sitting tight here at the moment. That's done what I thought it may do. Push up from there. So that kept me out of any possible shorts. Even if there had been a setup there, I'd have stayed out of it. Okay, if we can hold here, then that might be an indication there is a channel coming down there, in which case this may be a break, and we may retest. So if we can see a second entry short here, and that looks nice. Sorry if you can hear any snore in the background. That's my dog snoring away. Dog needs to start paying rent. She's getting old. She's getting an old. Well, she's not too old. She's 8, I think. We got 2 cockapoos, a boy and a girl. Yeah, she's getting a little bit heavy at the moment. She gets up. I get up at night and let her out. And first thing she does when she comes down is runs for a food bowl. So she does tend to do a bit of sleeping. So possible second entry short there. There's a lower high. I don't like the way that's a bit congested there, so I'm staying out of that. There is a possible lower high here. Lower high, second entry short. I'm just not a fan of this at the moment. It's a bit congested there, so I'm just sitting on my hands. If we can get a lower high below there, then that may interest me. I'm still keeping an eye on this at the moment. Hopefully that finishes bearish. It hasn't triggered yet then anyway. And there is still a possibility we're in a range, so that can always go up. And if that does, this is pretty much going to... so leg and a leg. Let's have a look. So choppy, yeah, it is, isn't it? Luckily I managed to get one early. Once you've got a trade, technically your work's done really, isn't it? So you can just relax back. Sit and relax and just... if I do take another trade, it's usually the best one I can see. If I'm up one, there's nothing worse than being up one and losing it. So there is a second entry short there. You could say it's a break out of here. So I kind of like that one. That's a second entry short, but I'd only be interested in a lower high below the EMA coming down. So that looks like it may be trapping that second entry short. It's not a terrible bar, but I've just grown wise to this. Sometimes sometimes it's... If we can get a lower high here, I kind of like that. That's a nice sign, that is. Nice big bearish bar, trap some longs and turn straight away. So if we can get a lower high here, I wouldn't mind that. So we've got a channel down there. We've got 2 legs up. I'm still not stupid, so I'm still going to be careful. I can see what's going on there, so that could go up and take out that short and come back to the top of this. So we'll see if we get a lower high. If that comes down and it's looking like it's going to take that out and we get a lower high at the same time, then I'll take a short there. But I'm just careful because I find in lots of times lately the market is just... It looks like it's constantly trying to trap people. Okay, so I like the way it triggered the long, stopped the long straight out, triggered another long, stopped the long straight away. So let's have a look at this. So if it comes down, we may expect it to break below there, and the same there. But I'm only interested in a lower high. We're already down here now, so I'm just sitting tight there. There's 3 touches of that as well. Does this look like it's coming down? Yeah, it's too late. This is anyway, really. We're down near the bottoms anyway. There is a second entry short, but I'm not a massive fan of that bar. It's a bit congested here. You may run it back to the EMA, but I don't know. It just didn't feel right, so I just tend to leave it alone now. Doesn't feel right. I just leave it alone. I tend to last a lot longer, so we've come down there and hit that level again, so too late to take a short there now. And we're a ways away from the EMA there, so I'd probably expect that to maybe... So, probably is a channel there. We got a touch and a touch with a break, and then a drop and a new low. So, let's figure out what's going on here. There may just be a bigger range. That would sort of make sense, wouldn't it? So if we do have a bigger range, we've got quite a nice drop there, and it's coming down at the bottom, so that to me is going to losing momentum. So I'm not thinking about going short here anyway. We've come down there, we've banked 4 times there. So if this is a range, and it's looking more like a range, I'd expect it to push up at some point. So I'll just sit tight. So that may be just something like that. In fact, I'd probably go as far as to say it's probably more just like that, and we got a break, 2 pushes down to a new low, and then we're just ranging a bit at the moment. We got a leg down and a leg down, a pull back, 2 attempts to go lower, and then up higher. Who knows? But I'm not thinking of going short here. If there's a short here, then in my opinion, it's more likely to be a trap unless you can get out before these lows. It may work because this has still got some space to come down. Trouble is, it's way too far from the EMA, so there's no way I'm taking that. That's got trap written all over it. We've already been down here 4 times, so I'll be amazed if that doesn't get taken out. Having said that, there is a little bit of vacant area down here. This could come down here a little more. It's just too risky. See, there'd have been a time where I'd have taken that and thought leg and a leg. And it may work, but in my opinion, it's just way risky. I might think, well, yeah, a leg and a leg. There we go. I'll be amazed if that doesn't get stopped out. Yeah. So it is useful to have this. I've given up trying those now. Yeah, we got a little bit of range there. A couple of legs down, a little bit of a range. So push down sideways, push down sideways. There may overall be a bit of a channel. Possibly. It's not the tidiest of one, but often in channels we see that push down sideways, push down sideways. If we push down again and get some sideways down here, it probably is a bit of a channel. Possibly a second entry short there, but I'm just sitting tight at the moment because I don't want to be going short right here because it may come back to the top. So I'm just sitting tight. And not only that, if we got a channel and break a new low, we could push up. I mean, there is distance between where we finished here in the bottom, so it may come back up to the EMA and then come down and test the bottom. Okay, I had a feeling this may be trapping some longs pushing up, but because we're so far from this bottom, that really is in the middle of, well, it's up the backside of beyond. So I'd probably expect it to come below there and maybe touch this. So I'm staying out of anything at the moment. Yeah, see, I see this quite a bit. We come down quite low and people go, oh yeah, we're at the bottom, let's go long, and it traps a bunch in and then drops and bounces off this area. So I'm not saying it's going to, but I get wise to this now when I see it happen. The thing about looking at these charts every day, you get wise, you notice things often do that, and sometimes when it gets close, it starts to push back and people think, oh yeah, okay, up we go, and then all of a sudden it'll just do a U-turn. So sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but I find when it does, regardless of what the outcome's going to be, I tend to just stay out. One thing I've just realised, over the last, I don't know, maybe 2 months, something like that just take away less trades. I was looking back on some of my videos like 6 months ago and stuff, and I like 4, 5, 6 trades, and I'll only usually end up one up. And I'm thinking, isn't it much better now just to sit through all this shit and wait for a nice trade and end up one up anyway? You just take one trade, but you save yourself so much less stress, don't you? And it takes time, I think, to realise that. We all overtrade, don't we, at some point? We all go through that stage of overtrading, and I've just given up now. I'll just sit and wait for a trade. I will take the odd risky one, but only if I'm pretty sure I know what I'm looking at. But it's much better just to sit back, and it does make trading more relaxing. The more trades you take in a day, ultimately the more you're going to lose, and sometimes it's just not worth that stress to only end up being the equivalent of one trade up anyway. So I have learned just to sit back, take my time. Right, it's just getting a bit choppy now, isn't it? Not looking to take a short here at the moment because this is in the middle of the range, and I would think that would be more likely to finish higher. So even if there's a bearish bar there, in my opinion, if there is, it's more likely going to be a trap because we still could come up to this level from here. Let's just see what happens. See if we do get a bearish bar. You could say leg, bearish bar coming back down. It may well, but as this is only around about halfway up, there's no way I'm taking a short there. Okay, excuse me a sec. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay. Okay, leg. Maybe a lower high there. Certainly not taking it at the moment. Because if this is a range, which it looks like we're right in the middle of it, and I ain't going long or short there, may come down, stall in there, may go up, so I ain't getting involved in that. It does look bearish, which is a good sign, but it's also congested. It's congested there, and we're only halfway up the range, so it could trigger a short there and rock up, and exactly the same there. So in my opinion, I'm just sitting tight and staying out of it. See, that looks to me like it's going to trap that lower high. And if that happens, goodbye to that one as well. Let's have a look. It could trap that long. There's a second entry long, could trap there. Trouble is, at the end of the day, it's congested, so it could go either way. So, I don't know. There's a short trap there, and there's a possible long trap there. So, as we've had a leg up and a little bit of this, it looks like more of a bull flag to me, so I would more expect it to go up. So for me, the chances that's going to go higher, which means I'm staying out of a short there, and there is a short trap there and a turn. So for me, it's going up. So if you took that one, that's going to get stopped out there for sure. Oh, I get why people would take that one. It's not long ago I'd have taken it myself. You could say lower high, nice big bearish bar. Fail break out of this. We're clearly struggling here. There's clearly a range, but I just stay away from it now. So definitely a bull flag that. Push up, sideways, push up. Usually go, because I follow a bit of crypto as well, so I tend to watch a little bit of analysis. This is something I used to look more into when I traded currency when I first started. And it usually goes the length of the stem, doesn't it? I'm not a pattern person, but what little I remember, push up, little bit of a bull flag, and then push up again. Second entry long. If you're going to trade a bull flag, that bit of bar, trade it. Trap in some shorts, and it's supposed to go the length of the stem. I don't know how accurate they are, but so still sideways in my opinion. There's nothing. It's not telling us anything else, really, is it? I don't quite know why it did that. The news was 1:30 UK time, which was around about here. So I don't know what caused that big spike there. Maybe it was just a couple of legs. Now that is a better looking channel. Touch a few times there. Touched in the morning. We had a couple of legs back. Perfect touch, break. So we could get some more movement to the upside. Thinking about this, the bigger picture is still a bull flag we've got to push up. And the sort of and the flag. So we could get up, and this is probably giving us the same sort of pattern, I think. So I think it is likely we could go up. So it is useful to do that. I mean, initially, before you had this spike, if you had that, I mean, you can't deny that, can you? Leg, a bit of sideways. So it is useful to look back. I can't see how it's detrimental to trading at all. It can only help you, I think. Let's have a look at it. So, leg and a leg. That higher low may not be a bad place for a quick scalp. Reason being is it's trapped that short there. So that might not be a bad place for a quick scalp. I didn't really notice it at the time, I don't think. Maybe for 6 ticks or something. Just incidentally, this 80% off with 1 day minimum to pass finishes tomorrow, midnight tomorrow. So if you do want to get one, they do seem to be having less of the discounts. I don't quite know why. I did hear rumours. I was talking to someone, I don't know, maybe a few weeks ago, that was talking to Darren, and they said they're having less discounts. I don't know why. I certainly expected 90% New Year or even Christmas, and we didn't get either. So I don't know why. In all fairness, when they have the 90% off, I make more money on commissions. So you would think they would. You would think it would make sense. So I don't quite know. But I suppose the one downside is if they are having so many of them, I suppose so many people take the trades, does it clog up their system? Does it cause them hassle? You know what I mean? With so many orders coming in, I don't quite know. But they do seem to be having less and less for some reason. I'm not a fan of the 71% one. I tend to just stick to the 80s now, 80s and 90s personally. I'd advise you to do the same, and certainly never do the 50%. I mean, even if they're having less, you can just stock up, can't you, when they have them? But I won't touch the 71%. I don't mind the half price resets. That's a straightforward $40, which I can live with that. But I would say to you guys, just stick with the discounts personally. That's my opinion anyway. Okay, so 2 legs down and a leg up. Just still not a fan of this at the moment. I'm just not sure about it at the moment. It's just choppy. So I've already done my job for the day, so there's no point in taking a silly risk, is there? We got a leg down and a leg down. It may be a leg up and a leg up. May trap some shorts. I'm just not a fan of that at the moment. This is, I don't know, who knows? It's in the middle of this range at the moment. I think the worst place to trade is in the middle of the range unless you really know what you're looking at. So I'm just staying out of it. I've learnt the hard way. I have just staying out of trade. At the moment with that, wasn't too bad. I kind of like what was happening, and at the time we were looking bullish on there. But all this stuff, it's just much safer. Do see other traders sometimes taking them, and they'll take a bunch of trades in there and they'll win 2 of them and lose 2. And they end up down, or even if you win 2 and lose 3, sometimes with the commissions and the more you risk, you end up down anyway. So personally, I'd rather end up on a 0 day than just get stuck into this stuff, because you do learn after a while that you just get chopped up. And I can't tell you how many times I've been chopped up in times like this because I'm looking for a trade. If it's a lower high, I'll take it. But, I think after a while you learn context is everything. When I first started, I was taking second entry longs in a downtrend because I thought it was a second entry long. But you learn after a while, don't you? When the market's unclear, you're best just to stay out of it. And when it's clear and you get an offering, jump in, take it and grab hold of it. One trade a day, you can make an absolute ton of money doing that. An absolute ton of money. I don't get trapped nowhere near as much as I used to. It used to frustrate the hell out of me getting trapped because I never saw it coming. But it's almost like when you learn to drive. I'm assuming most of you drive. When you learn to drive, now I know in the UK, you guys, your cars are different, aren't you? You tend to have like a gear. We got a sort of gear stick and a clutch and all that. And what I remember learning to drive, less is more, absolutely, mate. When I remember learning to drive, you spend so much time with your head down and you're quickly glancing at the road and you're thinking about changing gear and you're thinking about what your hand's doing. And then after a while, something just clicks and that stuff takes care of itself. And then you got your head up. You can look out the windows then and look at the view. And that's what I find with trading. When you're relatively new, you got your head down and you're missing the view, and then after a while things will start to take care of itself, and then you can sit up and it's almost like you've been given HD vision and you can see things a lot clearer. But absolutely less is more. I've told you this before, but when I first started this, I traded six months on currency, and when I first went over to this, I think I did a month, and we had a really nice uptrend for days and days, and I remember just buying at the bottom and winning. And I thought, this is a doddle. So I remember literally just checking my job in. I phoned up on a Friday from the garage, and I remember telling me boss, stick your job. I'm going to be a trader and make a ton of money. And I remember putting about £3,000, which is, I don't know, $3,800 of my own money in there. And I lost it quickly. And I remember thinking, I worked out I was something like, I don't know, $80 up. And what I hadn't realised is there was about $130 or $150 worth of fees. So it just goes to show when you're first starting, you like taking a trade every couple of minutes. But yeah, you do learn after a trade. The only way to learn to trade, really, you guys know this anyway, this is just me rabbiting on, it's just a trade. The more you trade, the more you start to filter out the crap. You still do stupid trades from time to time, I do. You're going to make mistakes, but the longer you've been trading, the more you get rid of that shit, and then you just wait for the good setups. And, at that level, that time, your confidence starts to boost, and then I think you get a lot of belief, because the trouble is with trading, there's that many failures. It's very hard to believe in yourself. I've done over 300 evaluations. When you fail that many times, it's very hard to really have belief that you can do this. And after time, I'm starting to get to that level now where I don't feel the need to take a stupid risk and try and get lucky. I feel like I can do it on my own, off my own merit. But it does take time to get to that level, I think. You got to feel pain. Absolutely, mate. Someone said to me, his theory was you get that sick of losing and failing and losing money, something just changes. We've talked about this many times, haven't we? If you want to lose some weight and put some muscles on at the gym, you can see it quite quickly because it's visual. the brain can be adapted, as we know. You can put a young 17-year-old lad in the army. He can't get out of bed. He's got long hair. He's the laziest arse you've ever seen. And within 6-7 months being in the military, he's a completely different person. He's mentally focused. So you see the physical, attributes, the changes, but obviously in the mind, it's very hard to sort of see a difference. I think you just start to fuck up less, for want of a better word, excuse my French, and then I feel like now I don't need to take stupid gambles to try and get lucky. I didn't think I could build an account on my own. I thought I had to take a stupid risk just to get me. I don't know how many times, as soon as I got PA, I had it on 2 contracts and I clicked bye and, clicked twice and went 4 contracts just to try and get a quick 5-point move, just to give myself $1,000 head start, because I didn't think I was capable of doing it myself. Because you fail so many times, and when you fail so many times, it really messes with your confidence. And it's only after time where you think, actually, I'm getting trapped way less. I'm identifying traps. I'm actually starting to feel like I'm getting somewhere now, and I'm starting to understand what's going on. But it's getting to that level. There's so many. I was chatting with Sam, 5 trader. He lost a PA. I think it was around about Christmas or just after. And I could see him taking the trades and jumping in, and I could feel exactly what he was feeling because I've been there myself. But you sort of, it's a journey. Someone said to me, show so-and-so how to trade. And I went, it's not like you can't show someone. Yeah, there is a trap there. You can't show someone how to trade. You have to give them a bit of guidance, and they have to just do it themselves. But you do get there, but I think that's why there's such a big failure rate, because most people give up. Most people aren't like us. They can't take failure after failure and misery after misery and get back up. It takes special people, in my opinion. It takes people with a lot of drive and determination, and that's the people in this room. People we chat to. You guys are my work colleagues, and we're all a bit unique in a way. We're all stubborn people who don't take no shit. We'll just keep getting back up and coming at it, and they're the people really that get somewhere in trading. I don't believe no one can trade. I think everyone can. The reason there is such a high failure rate is people give up. They just can't take it. They just can't take the failure rate, and they can't take, feeling like shit again and again and losing money. Okay, we're at the top here, and there was a quick drop there, so I'm guessing there was probably some shorts there, but at the moment, I don't like what I'm seeing here. So I'm just sitting tight. Let's leave that like that for now, because there is a bit of summon. But yeah, it's such a high failure rate because it's tough. Very few things have brought tears to my eyes, I can tell you now, and this is one of them. So it just goes to show how mentally it can mess with you. I mean, it really makes you feel like shit, doesn't it? Really does. But yeah, Nemus, yeah, you got to feel the pain. No, there isn't any way around it, is it? But you try telling someone that. If everyone believed it, then there would be more of a win rate. But it does take unique people, I think, people with a lot of drive and determination. And we've all asked ourselves, we've all questioned, should we give up? When is enough enough? And the secret is, really, there's only one way to do it, and the way to do it is just to put up with the punishment, and it's how you learn, really. I mean, if you walk outside on your normal day in bare feet, by the end of the day, you're going to be covered in cuts and scars, and your feet are going to be bleeding. You continue to do that for a few months, you're going to build up calluses on your feet. You know what I mean? You're going to be able to adapt to it. But it's very visual, that, whereas with the mental side of trading, you can't see it. But, when we get to the stage where we're earning decent money, and I reckon everyone will, if they stick at it long enough. You're in a very unique club because it's not many people that can stick this out. And I love the fact that it's hard work because, when I get the rewards, I'm going to feel really good. I've never been down the road of going to college, going to university, studying for a degree, for a career over 3 or 5 years, working hard and doing all the homework. I've never really done that. And I kind of sort of regret it. I was more interested in getting out of school and making money. So I never did the studying for a career before. And I kind of feel like I've missed out. And this is my way of sort of going back to school and learning a career. Because I'm 55 this year, so, I ain't a young kid anymore. But that's the beauty about trading. There's no real age limit, is there? I'll tell you something, when my wife went out to work and defrosted the car when it was -6 this morning, I was stuck. I was still stuck in my warm bed. It's so much nicer. Wilson just got his... Oh, is he really? Good on him. I had a chat with him the other night, a couple of nights ago. I messaged him and I said, just keep an eye on Rhythmic. It's playing up a little bit. I couldn't close trades. So I said, just keep your eye on it because you can imagine how Wilson would feel. He's got something like, in his account now, he's got something like about $60,000. Now, that would absolutely be mind-numbingly crippling if something went wrong. So I said, just be careful. I've had this problem. There are a few people, so just make sure you have all the information on your screen. And he thanked me and then messaged me back later. He said, I've put in for a bit of a payout. I don't want to have too much in the account, so he did say I love hearing about people doing well, and I got to say, Wilson's one of the decent ones. He's a nice guy. I've chatted on and off with Wilson now for, 6 or 8 months. I usually chat with him 3 or 4 times a week, and he's a lovely bloke. No one wants to be a robot for someone else. No, absolutely. I like the idea of having, if it was 100% protected, nothing would go wrong. I like the idea of putting 10,000 in each account and taking a withdrawal every month or twice a month without fail. But you can imagine how Wilson's feeling, and he's worked his ass off, and he's gone through all the pain, and he's got over $60,000 in his account. It's a bit scary letting someone else having $60,000 of your own money. So I get why he's doing it. He's just took $1,000 from a bunch of accounts. But he's still doing it sensibly. He's not taking 2,000 out and getting his accounts down low. And he only trades one contract. So I think he's making a good decision. So I'm really pleased for Wilson. He's a lovely bloke. And he, like us, he's put the work in. He's been around for a few years, Wilson has. I think he's been trading. He was trading longer than me. So this is his time. So he enjoys it. I'm pretty sure he will when his money gets banked. And he absolutely deserves it. I do love hearing about people doing well. Because I got a lot of respect for anybody who make money in this business. Great seeing someone use a strategy. Absolutely, because we have said before, does anybody know people who make money out of this? They are out there, but I remember when I first started a few years ago, Daniel was putting his charts in every day and chit-chatting on Facebook, and then I heard he was making more money and he slowly faded into the background, and I think that's probably normal. A lot of you guys hang around with me as a chat room because we're all in the same boat. We're all learning, we're all trying to. But I think when you start to make money, you're going to be out enjoying it and spending it. And you're probably going to spend less time in the Facebook groups and, on chatting in groups like this. So I think most people who will be making good money will be on their way, won't they? They'll be out enjoying life, which is probably why we don't have people in the room saying, yeah, I earned $500,000 last year. If they did that, they're all off spending it. I think we're working our way up, and the reason being is that to me looks a lot better. In which case we've got a break, and this looks like it's working up to be a new high, doesn't it? Wilson's number wrong. He's 11k from 14 accounts. I'm dyslexic. I think most of us are here, mate, I think. Yeah, I know he's taken some out because I think, did I count about 14 or 15 of his counts are over 3,000 now. But he's doing it the sensible way, I think. Because there's no point in working all that way and taking everything out and leaving yourself with $500 in each account. As tempting as it is, and I get why it's tempting. I kind of like that. In which case it does look like we're pushing up, doesn't it? Trouble is, I've got into trades like this before and all of a sudden it'll drop. So I think there's a chance we're going up. There's nothing for me to take here at the moment because it is so choppy, but my thoughts are we're going to push higher. But that's all they are at the moment, just educated speculation. And we've come down and hit that bottom and reversed a bit. And now we seem so. Whether we're just going to push up a bit and come down, or whether we're going to come back for this line. Are you a subscriber to Penguin still? I'm not, mate, but I still get emails. I did it for a month, and I think I realised that I had a good strategy. And I went through the stat phase everyone goes to, whether they question they should maybe have a different strategy. And I just sat down and it dawned on me, why am I spending time learning something else? I spent 2.5 years learning this. So, Wilson kind of helped me slow down. He is averaging unused per day. He's averaging something per day. I'm not sure you got a word wrong there or not, bud. Hey, John, how you doing? He's a nice bloke, Wilson, as he is. $500 is the minimum, so it's still... Yeah, I mean, if you're trading one contract, you can survive. You've still got to lose, I think, probably 3 trades in a row, haven't you? But I got mixed feelings about what I should go to. He's averaging $70. Yeah, got you. 10 days, so it's nearly $1,500. At the end of the day, even if you withdraw $1,000 per month off 20 accounts, that's $20,000. That's not pocket change, is it? It's $20,000. How many people earn $20,000? That's near on $250,000 a year. It's pretty decent money. Now, when I first started trading, and I've told you this before, I started with a guy called Andrew Lockwood. He said to me more than once, get the trading right and the money will just follow you, I guarantee it. And that's what it is. Once you start to make money, you will get a massive confidence boost because you'll realise I really can do this. Because as we talked a bit earlier, there is such a lot of failures. It's very hard to believe you can do it. Once you start making money and you get that sort of belief kick in, money will just follow you. Because you can start putting an account of your own and trading that as well, and money will just follow you. There is a second entry long there, but it's too far from the EMA for me. And depending on whether you think this is an overshoot or whatever, this is too far from the EMA, so I'm just sitting tight out of that. But yeah, I think once you start to make money and consistently, money will just come to you. Once you can do it. I'm about to punch out of the Penguin. Too much room for indifference. I love the simple approach. Yeah. I mean, he's so that second entry long, same again, another trap. So I'm avoiding traps daily, and I like the fact that something looks like a trap and I stay out of it, and it would have trapped me. So it's just another thing cemented in my head that I'm understanding what's going on and I'm staying out of the shit. He's very good at what he does, Wilson, and I would say if you're a newer trader, I would say maybe learn something like that. But if you've already done Pats for a year or two, stick with Pats. I think it is simpler. It is a little bit more fast moving. Wilson's goes more on a bigger picture, but so that looks like 2 legs down. Trouble is with me, this looks a bit overbought. I think so. Will that work? It's hard to say. That looks like a leg down. We may get another leg down, so I'm staying out again. It actually doesn't look a bad trade, that, as a long. I like the fact that we've come down and retested this. But I'm just staying out because I don't like the look of this at the moment. So I'm happy to let the trade go by. And not only that, we're at the top, so do you really want to go long just yet? You may call that a failed breakout, so I'm sitting tight. But yeah, I think we're lucky to have Pats because I think it's a brilliant system. And not only that, when it's almost given to you on a plate, Matt charges $125. He's not a fly-by-night guy who's just going to make money out of trying to flog off somebody's shit system. This is a great system, in my opinion. Much better than a lot of others I see out there. And for $125 a day, that is not someone who's trying to rip me off. And someone who's been putting YouTube videos out, and he doesn't have to. He puts YouTube videos out 4 days a week for the last 12 years. That's a decent guy to me. And if you get a decent guy, he's not going to rip you off. And I've done Pats long enough now to know it is a very good system. But it does take time to learn. People think strategies are easy. I thought they were. I thought, well, okay, so I know what a second entry long is. All I've got to do now is take one. But the real art to it and the real skill that comes with time is applying it to the correct context. You know, not taking sort of shorts and getting trapped. That's the bit that takes the time to learn. The strategy, you can teach someone what a second entry long is in 10 minutes, can't you? But so it is a second entry long, not by the count, but it's clearly 2 legs. My issue is we're going sideways and we've broken out the top. Most breakouts fail, so that puts me off. This to me looks overbought. We're out the top. We've had a big strong push up. I'll expect 2 legs back. That's 1 leg and a bit of a break, which has kept me out of that trade. Not only that, it's a little bit congested. So there's another reason for me to stay out of that. This to me, leg. If it's coming down to the EMA, surely you would think that would stop that out. So, but it does look like 2 legs. Yeah, there is a possibility it will hold. Depends how many people have got stops there. But it's sideways and congested, so I'm staying out of it. Nothing worse to get in a trade, and it does that on you. But at the moment, price is being held, but it is congested. It could be a failed breakout, and I'm not a fan of this being right at the top. This could come back here to me, and if it does come back, this is going to follow it, and that stop. Yeah, without this, it's very tempting, isn't it? We've got a leg back and a leg back. It's 2 actually lovely little legs back. And if you look at that and adjust that, it's sort of sitting beautifully. It may hold. A lot of times when you get a strong position, I find sometimes it holds, but I think it's just a little bit more risky than I want to do, especially when I'm 2 points up already. It might hold. Sometimes these positions do, but just the where this is at the moment, I'm just not confident. So, got me with a limit, came with tick off. Did it really? Yeah, I mean, if you're getting out before these highs, you may take that. What's the risk on it? But I've just learned just to sit back and take your time. So it's 3.25 point. If it was 6 ticks or something, you know, you may say, let's give it a go. But look at this. It's quite far from the EMA. We've got a leg back and a push up. So it may be trapping some longs there and coming back. I just don't like this. And you can see it's starting to go sideways now. So I think it's always better just to sit tight. It may work. Sometimes if you get, as I say, if you get a strong position, sometimes the stops do hold, and that is actually kind of a nice looking trade in one sense. But you know, we've all heard the fail breakout of a range. Most breakouts fail, and we're clearly ranging. No argument there. So that is a breakout. So it could fail. So that's one reason to leave it. And then this to me looks overbought. That big strong push up, 1 leg back. I'd expect another leg back. So that's second entry long, too far from the EMA. It's a weak position for me. It may work, but my take on it is it doesn't feel right, so I'm staying out of it. to break even. Yeah, it may hold because I like the setup. It may hold. Now rock it up. Yeah, see, I've got no problem with that. I don't mind it. If it doesn't feel right, I stay out of it. And it did start going sideways, didn't it? But it is a nice looking setup, but I just don't like where this is. And we've, like I say, we've all been taught most breakouts fail. And that is a breakout of a range. Nothing worse than being in a trade that goes sideways. I hate it. I'm not very brave when it comes to sitting in trades. So you would have got 2 points there. There's your 2 points there. As I say, I like the setup, but the bit that put me off, it is clearly 2 legs. The bit that put me off is it is a breakout, and we know they can fail, and it's up here, isn't it? Now, we had a leg down. When this formed, I thought that there is a chance that could come down. As it happens, it carried on up. But I got no problem with leaving a trade go by, not in the slightest. If something doesn't feel right, I just stay out of it. I didn't save the tick of the roll bar, so it was actually a second entry long in my chat. Yeah, it is a visual second entry long. Yeah, technically it's a third entry, isn't it? But first entry, second. It is a third entry, but Mac will tell you all day long there's clearly 2 legs back. I still think a lot of traders would have probably taken that. But because we have broken above here, we know they can fail. And I didn't like what I was seeing there. We'd had that strong push up. And then we came back, pushed up a bit, and that bullish bar triggered and came down. So I was thinking 2 legs back to the EMA. And if we had got back to here, I think that stop may have disappeared. But this is over an overbought area right at the top of the channel, isn't it? Let's see what happens here. Let's see if it holds. A lot of the times it does. But this may be just a fell breakout coming back in. So I'm glad I left it because I hate it when it goes like that. And yes, we pushed up, but it came back down quick. So for me, it's still a dodgy area to take a trade. If you're scalping a point, then maybe. But so you would have got 2 points. It went for, let's call that 2.75 points. Might be a fraction more. It went for 2.75 points. But a nice looking setup, but just the context for me wasn't right. And the fact that we've had a breakout of this range, and as we know, most breakouts fail. And this is right at the top of this channel, which is not an ideal place to go long. I wouldn't go long on here up here, definitely not. So if I'm not going to go long on here because I think it's going to come down, it tends to keep me out of trades here. You got 3 points out of that. Good on you, mate. Depends how you trade. See, if you're okay with losses and you're going with, you're playing with the numbers. I mean, if a trade's going to win 70% of the time, you can take them all day long. You'll make money. On my chart, it wasn't a third, it was actually second entry. Yeah, I would 100% call that a visual second entry long. I would have no problem taking that as a second entry long and posting that chart. With the context, no. But ordinarily, if that was, if we'd had a channel up and a break or something, then yeah, in fact, we did really. But, I would have no problem taking that and calling it a second entry long, because it's clearly a visual second entry long. We've visually got 2 legs back. The only thing that kept me out of it, your target at the high, the only thing that kept me out of it is, and it does go sideways, so it does say that, it does say to me there's definitely some congestion there. So I'd still not take it second time around. Yes, it made 2 3/4 points, but it may not have done. But I can't go long on this with this showing me this picture. The fact that it worked here and changed to okay. I forget myself sometimes, bud. But it's not pushing up strongly, is it? It managed to get above this and then turn quickly, but that's clearly ranging. So yeah, fail break out of range, depends where you. Let's put that there. In fact, in all fairness, I ain't got a problem with changing that now, because that actually fits really nice to the left side of it. Where was it? There. I like that. 3 touches, 4 touches, 5 touches, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 touches along there. I like that. So even if I was looking at now a little breakout, that 2 legs down, I wouldn't take a long there, because I'd be thinking I want to be out before the highs. And sometimes it'll do that, trap the longs and then come down. Thanks, Chris, mate. I appreciate that. So it's just one of those areas, isn't it? Sometimes they'll work, sometimes they don't. But as a visual second entry long, it's beautiful. 2 clear legs and a bullish bar, and that's where you'd like to see it. But just because of where it is in here, you just don't know, do you? Sorry if I'm finicky. I just got to get these right. Just call me obsessive compulsive. Yeah, I like that. 4, 5 touches there, and it's fucked up again, isn't it? Hold on. There we go. That's how I like it, looking nice. Lovely. Yeah, so I think it's done its job, isn't it? Channel, 2 legs back, new high. It's done its job there. But with this, I'm seeing it's just, we've got a leg back. And when that forms there, you're thinking, leg back. So that sort of kept me out of that. And usually, if I'm up a couple of points, I get even more strict. There's nothing worse than giving back. What time is it? Nothing worse than giving back, is there? Okay, leg. Okay, so yes, it's such a dog's breakfast. Yeah, it is a bit, mate. I think I got in early there. It didn't look terrible there, but obviously since then, mind you, we get days like this, don't we? We get days where it's just choppy as hell. There's no rhyme or reason. Okay, leg, right down to the bottom. That's what I was thinking there. That's why I stayed out of that trade, because I was thinking it's going to trigger and come down close to these tops. And when you see that, maybe it does look like a little bit of an overshoot there. Leg back. So we're definitely ranging now anyway. I'm quite happy where that is. I mean, that was quite close to the highs. Will Mac mark that? If it makes a point, I think he will. I don't know, I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to see. I like to see what Mac thinks of that. Looking at how I've got that there now, then I'd say it was another reason not to go long. At the time, I had that a bit further down here, so it'll be interesting to see whether he marks that or not, or whether he will say risky going into these, or whether he'll mark it as a green. It's a shame because it's actually a really nice looking 2 legs back and a nice bar. It points out that original channel from this morning still works that you have drawn. That original channel. And about here. And about there like that, yeah. Yeah, to be honest with you, mate, it's so wide, it's almost as wide as it is long. So, although I get what you're saying, it just doesn't look right to me. I get that it's touched at a certain places, and who knows, by the end of the day, if we end up here, then it might be, but at the moment, you may go long there, see, and look what's happening. So that's why it's too risky to trade something like that. Yeah, so if you thought, there we go, second entry long, off the key entry point, you took that trade, you got stitch. Yeah, so do you know what? I had this conversation with Sam the other day, because I said to Sam, he's drawing bigger channels all the time, and I said I went through that phase. Just stick to the smaller stuff, and you'll get caught out less. So if you'd have had that, we got 1, 2, 3 touches, you may have said that confirmed it. You may have gone, oh yeah, second entry long, I'll go long here, triggered you, stopped you out. So I think it's more sideways than a channel. And when you take that away, see, if you put that there, you might go, yeah, I just don't know. It's just way too wide. But if you look at that, you'll be thinking, oh, I'm looking for a long. But then if you take it away, it's just clearly sideways, isn't it? Believe Wilson trade 1 on 2 contract live. He did, didn't he? Maybe a couple of years ago. But if you look in the small print, it said, because there was a bit of talk about that, it said that I've not said that I can't remember now, we're going back a while, but when I first saw him trading that, in my opinion, the guy looked like an absolute killer. He seemed to make money. Granted, it was on evaluations in the end, wasn't it? Because obviously he trades $50,000 accounts. He's got 20 now. But yeah, I remember that. I remember thinking this guy's making a ton of money. But you know, there you go. What's your thoughts on that pretty good uptrend we had yesterday that Mac didn't? It never retested, but sure looked. You know, I would say, don't think that Mac doesn't, you know, get things wrong or adjust charts. We all have a slightly different read. That was it, wasn't it? Because I had it that way, and it looked okay to me, and I think a few other people had it that way. But you don't know whether Mac marks all this. Yeah, it certainly looked like it. What I will say is it is, but it's, I think why he may have not marked it, because it was push upside, was push down, push upside was, but I think personally I would say that looks okay to me. In fact, I'm pretty sure I had that up. 2 legs back, you take a long there, it works. 2 legs back, you take a long there, it works. But we never retested. I think that's the one you're on about anyway, isn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Or did we retest? Well, we have retested, so you know. But yeah, sometimes he does have things differently. We've all seen sometimes some of the odd charts that Mac does have. I've seen some real sort of odd ones like this. That was it, yeah. I've seen some really odd ones that Mac's taken some really odd looking ones before, so but yeah, I think it was okay. But you don't know whether he's marking these again after. It's hard to say, really. I don't think he had that one. He had a lot of short. Yeah. It's hard to say, isn't it, really? It looked okay to me, personally, but it's still very choppy, so I get why I may not have marked it. And the trouble is, sometimes if you do mark these, and I've done it myself, it does affect your bias to go long. Having said that, it's still going long, isn't it? You know, the definition of an uptrend is we're making consistent higher lows and higher highs, and we're here, that's higher, that's higher, that's higher, that's higher. So it is working up. So there's no reason why you can't, you know, call it a channel. It's maybe not as nice a looking channel, you know, as that, but it looks like a channel to me. We have this push up, then we had 2 legs of correction, then we have another push up, then we have 2 legs of correction, then we have another push up, another 2 legs of correction. So it looked okay to me. Obviously, these types of channels are a lot neater, but sometimes I mess around with a channel so many times because I can't figure out what's going on sometimes. It's not the easiest day of trading today, in all fairness, is it? Yeah, see, the MQ's a bit all over the place. We got a leg up, break new high, 2 legs back, push up again. Yeah, some days are hard to read, which is another reason why I have this. Sometimes it can seem much clearer. See, when we had that big drop down here, that fitted nice in the channel. It didn't there, did it? Because we had this massive overshoot. So I drew that because that looked like a spike and channel. That looks like it's fitting nice. But then we had that big strong push up. We didn't even have any news. That was before it was around about 10:15 UK time. We had that big strong move. Normally you'd see news with that, wouldn't you? But not always. But the news is around about there, I think. But yeah, it's clearly just one of those days, isn't it? Just chopping all over the place. I actually don't mind days like this because it tests my patience, and I think it's useful. It's always useful to have those patience tested. You know, I think it's good to have one of these slow days because it does work on that patience muscle, doesn't it? And if I can walk away after this and I don't see any trades, I feel just as good as if I've made money. Because I know in the past it's one thing I've struggled with. If you look back on some of my videos going back maybe 6 or 8 months, you'll see me sit there patiently for 2 3/4 hours and the last 15 minutes take a stupid trade and end up red. I tend to not do that so much now. That looks like a channel with a break. That looks like a channel with a break. Trouble is, depends what you're thinking, what you think's going on here, because we've had a break in a new high. So, trouble is, when it's like this, it's easy to misread it and get it wrong. So leg. Let's see if we can get a second entry short here that looks bearish from this underside, and we can get something similar here. Then that may Does your family know you're going to be rich? The trouble is, when you've been failing at something for 3 years like I have, people don't believe you can even do it, let alone get rich out of it. Do you know something? In all honest opinion, I've had stupid goals in the past, but if I can start off by earning $10,000 a month, I will be over the moon. And it's not difficult. You've got 5 accounts and you withdraw $2,000 from each of them. That's not, overstating it. That's not over risking. I'll be happy with that. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I want more? Absolutely. But that is my first target. And if I can do that consistently, money will just keep following you, won't you? But that's the trick, being able to do it consistently. But I have those same thoughts that you guys do. 10 grand, kind of rich. You think so? Yeah, maybe. Not everyone earns $10,000 a month, do they? But I want something realistically. Now, I believe I can relatively comfortably. It's comfortable, yeah. I can relatively comfortably average around about 2,000 a month trading 2 contracts. So I've been trading just over a week. I've only actually traded, this is the 5th day I've traded. There's been 2 days I haven't. So in 7 days, 2 of the days I haven't, I'm up, say, 1,100. So that's not even 2 weeks. So you would think $2,000 a month would be quite relatively gettable. I don't tend to have a target because I tend to think you can only get what the market gives you. And if you start setting yourself monetary targets, you can set yourself up to fail. I think so anyway. So I think $2,000 a month is realistic, and that's only on 5 accounts. Now, even if you've got 10 accounts and you only do $1,000 a month, it's still $10,000 a month. So I think it's very realistic to earn that. But obviously, you've still got to learn to trade, and you've still got to get past the psychological side. My trading skills are enough now that I can make more money than I lose. So that's important. But obviously, got the psychological side, which you guys know I've struggled with. But at some point, your confidence level and your trading ability will, as it builds up, it'll start then to overshadow the psychological side, and then you'll go, well, I know I can trade, so why let this bother me? So I think I'm at where the scales are tipping towards my confidence in my trading abilities are maybe getting a little bit higher on the scale than my psychological side. And hopefully that way, because if you know in your own mind you can do this 100% with the losses, the psychological side shouldn't effectively affect you, but it's getting to that level with your skills where it tips the balance in your favour. But I definitely, what I will say is, if anybody is really struggling and they're in a bad place at the moment, take a break. I'd never taken 10 days off in 3 years, and I took 10 days off at Christmas, and I really felt like a different person. But I put it down to a bad marriage. If you're in a bad marriage, it takes the slightest thing for you to start arguing. Whereas if you walk away and have a break, it gives you a chance to calm down and get some of them demons out. So I think Christmas break did me more good than I realised. But I have spoke before and said this before. But for me now, I'm just taking my time. It's to have $20,000, $25,000 accounts like Wilson, $100 a day. Perfect. You're not aiming too high at all. You're aiming nice and small. $100 a day, 25. I think that's a good. I think it's a good place to be. That. We all have dreams, don't we, of making $60,000 a month and stuff like that. And in time, there's no reason why we can't. But trouble is, there's that much spoken about trading, and we all know how many people, have withdrawn lots of money, and it's very hard to not let that affect you. And we all, I don't know if you guys are like me. I sit and look at the Range Rover magazine more than I should do. And my dream is to go and spend a few years in Dubai. It's good to have dreams, but sometimes you can focus too much on the money, and we all know it's not the wisest form of action, but you can't help it initially, and it's okay to do it, I think. Lucky to live in a time and a place that we can absolutely, mate, absolutely. Ain't technology amazing? Really, it is. It really is. I do wish I'd have done this when I was a bit younger, but it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, I'm coming up 55 this year, so technically in about another 13 or 14 years, I would be normally retiring anyway, but I'm a pretty young 54-year-old. I like Dubai for trading too. I can trade at 5 instead of, See, this morning it was freezing cold, so it was -6. And I got up early. I got up about 6 o'clock this morning, went downstairs, rinsed, loaded the dishwasher, did a few other little bits, and I made my wife a cup of tea, put the heating on, made my wife a cup of tea, and took a cup of tea up at 6:45, and I looked out the window and it was like flipping ice out there, -6. So I made her a cup of tea, she got out, I got back into bed. Little one was off to school, and I woke up at 12 o'clock midday, which I never do. Usually I'm up after my wife goes. I usually do the shopping, because obviously I'm at home. I do the shopping, make sure that there's some dinner. But yeah, I got back into bed. I started getting up at night for maybe an hour or so. I usually watch Max. Max doesn't put his chart until around about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning UK. So if I get up and go to the toilet at night, I'll usually come downstairs, make a cup of tea. And sometimes it catches, but because I don't have to get up in the morning, and then I came back, fell asleep in a nice warm bed. My wife went out in the freezing cold, so I do love the fact that I trade in the UK and I don't need to be at the chart till about 2:15. It's ideal. I know some of you guys who are on the sort of west coast. What are you, 8 hours? So it's pretty early in the morning when you guys are trading, so I'm lucky in that sense. But yeah, Dubai, I think Dubai are about 3 hours ahead of me, depending on where we are with the now forward hour back. But for me, Dubai is, it's a bit of excitement, isn't it? I'm 54, but I'm still a kid in my own mind. I'm still a young 54. I still go out and act like an idiot if I go out with some mates. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sort of fit and active. I got a very young mind. I still act like a 2-year-old sometimes. I don't take too much seriously. But for me, it's a bit of excitement. Take your family somewhere nice and hot abroad. You've got that excitement. Some of your family members and your friends are jealous. You know what I mean? I just, they're like, oh, can we come and visit you? I love all that exciting side of it. Exciting for your family, But no, I love it. And that's my dream, to do that. What I'd like to do is go out there for 5 years, work hard, enjoy life, save a ton of money, come back and semi-retire in the UK and buy a house outright, and then just trade maybe a few days a week or something. That's what I'd love to do. But I like Dubai. One, there's nothing nicer than a warm country. It's obviously tax-free. It's actually the 3rd safest place to live in the world. Surprisingly enough, you wouldn't think that in the Middle East, but they've just got fantastic shopping out there. It's living the life, isn't it? And that's what I'd love to do. And you've got to have your dreams. It's always nice to have a picture of it on your computer of the car you want and where you want it. It's nice to have your dreams. You've got to, because that's what gets you going, isn't it? That's what gets you excited. But whether I'll actually live there or not, I don't know. I'm certainly going to take a holiday there, 100%. And if my family like it, then there's no reason. And that is the beauty of being a trader. All you got to do is move your computer and you're done. No messing around. I've got friends who go down to the coast in the UK and they love it. And they say they'd love to live down there, but they can't because of work commitments. So that is one of the most attractive things about being a trader. Just disappear wherever you like. Was it Rodian we were speaking to the other day? Was on holiday in Bali. His wife was on the beach and he just nipped up to the room to do a bit of trading. Now that is the life, isn't it? You nip back to the room in the air conditioning, do a little bit of trading. Wife's happy on the beach or out spending, doing a bit of shopping. Now he's going to bug me. Why has it moved? Actually, that's probably a bit better there. We got more touches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that's even better. Somewhere around about there anyway. But yeah, you've got to have your dreams. You're not going to get stabbed there. You're not. I actually thought, being the Middle East, I didn't think there was such a place as a safe place in the Middle East, but I think they've done a really good job in Dubai. If you look back, I like watching some of the programs on. In fact, I'm going to watch one later again just to get me in the mood. When they built what's the hotel they built? The only 7-star hotel in the world that's shaped like a sail. They had to do something special with the ground, didn't they? Because I think most of Dubai is like, if you look at the Palm, it's all man-made, isn't it? They've done, but I thought the money in Dubai was from oil. It's not. It's only a small portion of it. Most of the money that comes into Dubai is from tourism. You know, you think Dubai, Middle East, you think oil, don't you? But no, it's not. But I love watching some of the programs, how they built the Burj Khalifa, and they're fascinating to watch. If you like any type of engineering programs, you know, I love stuff like that. But I think with the Prince of Dubai, or the King, whatever he is, at the time realised that oil was going to run out at a certain time, so, you know, planned ahead, and you know, as a massive tourist, but, you know, any places like that. But it does look spectacular, I got to say. I do know a couple of people who've been there and said they flipping loved it. Hot in the summer. They went in June and they said it was very hot. And they spent most of the time in you know, the Burj Al Arab. That was the one, yeah. They put these they almost look like, there was a game that used to be in the UK when I was a kid. You bounced a ball and picked up these little metal. They look like, what are they? They look like, what was it called? You bounce the ball and you pick it. I was only a little when they were out. They have these big shaped rocks, don't they? Designed to, or squares or whatever there with circles in, was designed to break down because they thought with the, you know, when they get bad weather that it would sort of erode the bottom. But it's amazing how they do it. But I saw a program on the woman, the Chinese designer that designed. Now, when you go into the Burj, not that I've been in there, when you go in there and you look up, it's almost like there's just floor after floor, like a big circle. She designed it and painted it all, and when the prince came and looked at it, he didn't like it, so they redid the whole thing. But it's kind of over the top, but it works. It's all blue and gold and stuff, and it is real bold, bright colours, but it really works. But you know, they've got the shopping. They've got that big area out there where they've got big gates, and they've got like China, Africa, and you go into these big areas, and it's like you're walking into that particular country. It's yeah, that as well. I was going to mention that. That big artificial, well, I say artificial, it's real snow, isn't it? They got penguins in there, and yeah, it's spectacular. They sort of, if you like shopping and you like nightlife, you like beaches, I think it's a great place to go. And you like penguins, but shopping as well. So that's how I've been trying to sell it to my wife and daughter. My daughter said no initially. But she's mad into her skincare and all these creams and stuff, so I just showed her some of the shopping malls and she's come around. So that's my plan. That's what I'd love to do, maybe over the next couple of 3 years or something. But what I will say is the amount of money you're paying in tax, I think over £65,000 in the UK, you're paying about 49% tax. It's horrendous. So you don't need to be earning a huge amount of money to be able to survive out there comfortably on just the money you pay tax, and beaches as well. I used to do a bit of skydiving when I was younger, and they have fantastic skydiving there as well. And I've always wanted to do a skydive above the desert. Something just looks amazing about it. So it just looks like an exciting place to live, even just for a few years, just to, us guys, we're still boys at heart, aren't we? We still like to, get excited about stuff. And I think jumping on a plane and going to move to a hot country, and just telling your friends and family you're going to do it, and just seeing the look of jealousy on their faces. And then you reminded them that they can come over for a free holiday and they get a smile again. It's just something I'd love to do. That's my dream. Go have your dreams. How you doing, Osam? Anyway, how you getting on? So, we got this channel down and we had a break. Now, there was a higher low there, but I'm not a massive fan at the moment because we could have trapped that and we come down here, retest these bottoms. So it's not the easiest of trading days, I'll say. How long is it? In fact, I'm going to finish early again. I'm trying to do a little bit less trading time now. And I'm trying to separate my off time to my trading time because I used to get that obsessed with it. I've done my job, $200 on 2 accounts. I'm up $400 for the day. So that is perfect. So it's still choppy, isn't it? But there you go. That's me for the day. So I'm going to go and do a little bit more dreaming this afternoon. So I hope you've got a trade today. Not sure whether you will have. I'm sure a few of you said that might not have been a terrible place, leg. Nice to dream. Yeah, but trading on the beach, driving around in a Lambo around. It does sound good, doesn't it? Jet ski. It does sound good, doesn't it? You got to have your dreams. I've always been a bit of a dreamer. I've always had my dreams, but it's what pushes you and motivates you. Appreciate you, mate. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I love trading with people. Nothing worse than sitting in a room by yourself. But I love the way we all get to know each other now. We can chat about stuff and dream together and help each other and support each other. I love it. Much better than sitting in a room by yourself, isn't it? Unless it was a hotel room with air conditioning and you've got a beach. That I can put up with that then. So that's it. 2 hours done. One trade. I'm done. I hope you've got a trade. If you're carrying on, best of luck. I hope you get out of this bloody thing here. I have a feeling we're going to move up. We seem to have this push and sideways, so we may get a push up. Yeah, you take care too, mate. You take care. So is it Friday tomorrow? Yes, Friday, last day, another week gone. We're going to be in February before you know it. At least we're starting to get bright nights in the UK, so although it's bloody freezing, it's starting to get brighter in the morning. So best of luck anyway. I hope you get a setup. Failing that, I will see you guys tomorrow. So I appreciate all your comments. Have a great day. Stay safe, and we will chat again tomorrow. Bye for now.